Hey guys, welcome. In this video we're going to talk about constructors and parameterized constructors and then instance variables. Okay, so crank up Visual Studio and let's make a project here. So using system, there you go. And why do we need these? Well, the answer is very simple. If you make an object but you can't save any properties, any values about the object, then it's not much use. Alright, so we're going to make a namespace here. Okay, so some space. It doesn't really matter. That's fine. Okay. There you go. So within this namespace, we are going to make a class, and we'll give it the name cat. Class cat. And now we are going to declare instance variables. Okay. So you are going to type here private, like this, and then string per color. That is an instance variable. In other words, every time you make a new cat using this class, each cat will have its own set of variables that define that particular cat. You'll see that very vividly in a momentarily. Alright, now we're going to say here private boolean here has owner. Okay, and then one more. Private string name. And notice I'm making all of them private, which means to access these instance variables you would need some kind of function or a property. We'll talk about that stuff later. For our purposes, because it's private, you would not be able to access these directly. These instance variables could be said to store the state of the cat, right? The properties, the things that define the cat. So you want access to them to be restricted. There you go. So next you're going to make a constructor, public cat, and this is a parameterized constructor. So when a cat is created, we'll specify the values that define the cat. Okay, so string color here, double how heavy, and boolean string. Actually, the color, yes, the color we need, the how heavy, and then let's delete the how heavy one. That's the one that we don't need. There you go. Okay, let's delete that one. That one we don't need. Okay. Boolean owned and then string cat name like this. There you go. So when you make cats using this template, we'll have to specify the color of the fur, for example, whether it has an owner or not, and then the name of the cat. Right? Now, how do you set these instance variables using the constructor? You type this dot, and that means the current object that's being made. That's what the this means. And you're going to choose, for example, the instance variable, so for color, and then you can set that equal to the color as specified through this constructor. Okay? Then you repeat that. So you're going to say this, and you can even do it without this. Okay? If you don't want to do it without this, then you can just type, for example, has owner equals owned. Okay? It's a matter of personal preference. And then lastly, this dot name equals cat name closed with a semicolon. Okay? Now, got that. Alright, so this next point, let me delete this. And now we're going to use it. So how do you use it? Well, we're going to make a class that uses the cat class. Okay, so you're going to say here class use cat. There you go. And now we're going to type as follows. You're going to type static void main, the entry point into the program. We need that, correct? And now I don't have to sit there making up stuff that I've already made up in advance. Let's type some code. You're going to say cat. Okay, that's the data type, and then cat1 is the name of that object, and then new cat. And now here you're going to specify, for example, the properties that define it. Okay, so that means you can say, alright, so color is 1, so we'll say our cat is orange like this. Say he is owned, that's true, specify that keyword that way, right? It's boolean. Let's say his name, of course, is generically in Tubby. There you go. Let's do a couple more cats. So cat2 equals, and then new cat like that. And then you're going to say the different colors, so gray, comma, say false, and then say he doesn't have a name. There you go, a stray cat, just see the color. So no owner, no name. And then cat3. Come on. And then you can say here new cat, and then say this dude is black over here, and then this little cat of ours, and then say true, and say his name happens to be Mr. Thomas. There you go, it's my name, Thomas too. Okay, so let's delete that. Okay, so we have our 3 cats. Okay. And now what we're going to say is give this a build. And now we're going to confirm this actually does create 3 separate objects. So go to debug and step into. We're not showing anything here. This is all just so you can familiarize yourself with the concept of an instance variable. So each of these that you see in the locals window is an instance of the cat class. Okay, this is instance 1, instance 2, instance 3. Alright? And there's the type of it. Some space.cat, some space.cat, some space.cat. So these are cats. Alright, then you're going to step into it. Notice you call it parameterized constructor. Now you go into its body and you assign, see those one at a time, they're assigned. You see that? Okay? And then you connect their left and right side. So now if you expand cat, see cat1, fur color has owner, name, and you see little locks, those are private, and those are the values of those instance variables, okay, in the type, string, boolean, and string also. So that looks like that. Okay, now we repeat this. There you go. And repeat it one more time. And now if you pull this window up, expand your cats here, and this confirms that now we have 3 cat objects, and each cat has its own set of instance variables. They're the same for the cats, but the values are different, right? Those are the values are the unique things that define each object, okay? Like this. So if you have a class called employee, you can imagine, 10 different things that define an employee, and then each employee would have his or her own set of property values, okay, or instance variable values. So remember, cat is the object, an instance of the class, and fur color has owner, name. Those are the instance variables, and they're variables because when you look at them between cat 1, 2, and 3, they change in value, do they not? It goes from orange to gray to black. It goes from true to false to true, and then Tubby to no name to Mr. Thomas, right? Those are clearly variables. They change their values. Alright, and that is it. So thanks very much, guys. And what I want you to do is, as an assignment, code up a for each loop. We'll first put the cats here, herd them into an array, and then use a for each loop, okay, to go through the array and display the cats, okay, on the screen. And then look at what actually shows on the screen. And that is it. So thanks very much, and I'll see you in another video.